and she started shouting at me. Basically, I started crying, and then she started apologizing, realizing that it has affected me. But,
Right, but
only because
Sure.
if she didn't resolve the matter, she would have heard back from my biological dad at the time.
Right. And in this case, no one is hearing from your parents.
And she would have been fired, probably.
Right. So her apology may not have been genuine for shouting at you. She might have just been saving
Exactly.
your face because she's trying to save her job. But in this situation, they don't get punished for your feelings getting hurt. Therefore, they're not going to have an obligation to give you a fake apology.
Exactly, and that's the worst thing about the psych ward, I believe, because you don't really have any credibility as a person. All the credibility is in the hands of the staff members. Upon that original visit that I'm talking about right now, I actually had gone there. In other words, one could say I went there of my own volition.
Yeah. Okay. So you like admitted yourself to the psych ward?
Yes.
But yeah, I completely agree. I think that is tough to deal with when the people who are in charge of your well-being have no moral check. Like there's no like system of checks and balances like there is in the government. They can step out of line and nobody will tell them, hey, don't be so harsh. I think that is hard to deal with, especially if you're someone who is trying to get better actually. So like you're working on yourself, it can feel like people aren't validating you. I get that feeling entirely, where people aren't giving you the chance to improve or giving you credit for that at all, even though you're trying your best to be a better person or to think more clearly, you know what I mean? So that is true. But at the same time, you have to understand that because of the situation, that person is not technically, they don't owe you an apology. I think in that case, you have to understand and to have a little more mindset perspective of the people that work there, what they have to deal with, right? Because you might be one of the more sane ones of the people admitted there. But think about all the stress they have to deal with are the ones who are actually insane, like way worse than you. That is a stressful job, and it probably takes a big mental toll. And they probably don't have the best like time off or vacation hours a lot of the time. And it just affects them, and they might be projecting their feelings, and maybe them too. They even like just like how you kind of are project your jadedness onto someone who didn't do anything. They might have done that here. You know, it's like it doesn't mean that they're a bad person or that they owe an apology. Like in a perfect world, sure, people should always apologize for stepping on toes and hurting feelings, but you know, they're not likely to do that because of their emotional stress and lack of needing to in order to keep their job. Does that make sense?
Sure, it does.
Yeah. But in this case, this is kind of like part of being an adult, I guess, instead of just having the kid mentality where like, mom hurt my feelings. She should care about me. I'm the kid. She's supposed to take care of me. Like, I feel like that's the kind of feeling you're projecting onto the staff members. Like they're supposed to nurture you and take care of you because they are technically and legally in charge of your well-being, but they don't have the same emotional obligation to you like as a mother does. You just have to kind of accept reality in the situation, even though it sucks.
Maybe I'm sort of hesitant in saying this, but it appears as though appropriately so, but you are pretty much I've experienced what a beneficial, let's say, psych ward is like, and then this is pretty much the worst one that I'm talking about. So I was gonna say that you're sort of naive, but at the same time, having been to a decent psych ward, you're not really naive because you're just almost getting confused. But
no, I think your feelings are valid. Absolutely. I get your feeling completely. It sucks when another person who hurt your feelings feel like you didn't deserve it or your friend didn't deserve it, you don't want to watch it. I feel like they should apologize because they overreacted. But as an adult, you kind of have to have a little bit more, I guess, emotional sympathy towards other adults who are going through just tough experiences and might be projecting feelings just like you do sometimes. And they're not always going to apologize. And you have to, instead of feeling like you deserve the apology and you're not going to be happy until you get it, you kind of just have to be the bigger person and forgive them and not take things personally because, you know, in different circumstances, if they weren't in charge of you in a psych ward and y'all were two normal, sane people outside, coworkers, they probably wouldn't be that way towards you. Like the circumstances are what's causing this, and you just have to let it affect you, even though it might in the moment. Be able to let things go, not take it personally, and be the bigger person and just, you know, not let it bother you and kind of like forgive them without telling them straight up you forgive them. am challenging you to see both sides of the compassion, because right now, the way you came in here described like what you're exhibiting is compassion for your friend and compassion for yourself, and saying people shouldn't be that way when we're trying our best. But what you don't have compassion is compassion for the staff worker who might just be under a lot of stress and is projecting towards a person who's innocent, just like you have done before in your life.
Right.
So I think we all just need to have compassion for each other, no matter if we're on the victim side or the offender side, and just like, grow, like have a more mature mentality and just let things go.
Well, that's pretty much it. I'd like to conclude this conversation and thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. All right, have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Amouranth.
All right, bye.